Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I hope you can all hear me very well. So, today's session is about the camera and NVR configuration. Okay, so you have purchased the camera. Now you need to know how to configure the NVR and the cameras. Okay, so we will see the different steps of configuring the camera. And before that, we have to first understand there are different series of cameras and the expectations slightly changes depending on the camera series. For example, uh, under the Wisenet product umbrella, we have four major series of cameras: X series, Q series, P series, and T series. Okay, let me brief you a bit. Yeah, okay. So depending on the series, the camera features vary. So some features you would need to do if you have, for example, the higher series, you can do more configurations related to analytics. But otherwise, across all the series, there is some basic functionalities. Setting of IP address, setting of the camera video profiles, all of them will be the same. So I'm going to now open up the PowerPoint just to give you a quick brief and then move forward. My name is Samuel. I'm your trainer today for this course, camera and NVR configuration. Okay, now, good morning. So can you see my screen clearly? I hope you can. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. Okay, so if you see every camera model number starts with three letters. Three letters. The first letter tells you which camera series it belongs to. The second letter tells you whether it is IP or analog camera. N is for IP camera. The third letter tells you what is the shape of the camera. This is also very important. For example, if you are working with the indoor camera, it will be letter D. If you're working with let's say, yeah, letter D. If you're working with V, X and V, X series network camera, X and V. V means outdoor dome camera. Then X and O, Q and O, it means it's a bullet camera. So the shape of the camera is determined by this third letter. Okay, so you can keep that in mind. However, just remember there is a toolbox. Using the toolbox, you can also find out what is the shape quickly. If you're not able to remember, there is definitely many ways to find out. Opening the datasheet, checking on the website, and opening the toolbox. The good thing in toolbox is when when you have a project BOQ and almost all the model numbers looks similar, in the Wisener toolbox, you can enter all the model numbers and do a comparison. Then you can understand, okay, this goes in the corridor area, this model will go to the entrance area, the other model goes to the outdoor area. So you should be able to understand from the model number where the camera will be installed. Okay, you don't have to always look at the description. Okay, done. Next is there is a digit which is for resolution. Again, just one digit for resolution. Okay, so 6 is 2 megapixel, not 6 megapixel, 2 megapixel, and higher the number, higher the resolution. Next is two digits. Again, you don't have to memorize any of this. Next is two digits. Two digits is for the lens. So if you have 08, it represents adjustable lens. So, and it also says 08 is motorized adjustable lens. Motorized means you can remotely adjust, whereas 07 is manual, which means if you install the camera on the ceiling, you have to use a ladder and adjust the focus manually. If it is 08, you can click a button on the camera web page. You don't have to go, you don't need a ladder. You just use your laptop, log into the camera, click on the focus button, the camera will focus. So if you have 07, you may need more days to make sure all the cameras are manually adjusted and focused. So just keep this in mind. Also, there are two types of adjustable lenses. Then the other numbers are mostly fixed lens. So all entrances for any project, generally they use adjustable lens. So if you have some cameras fixed lens, you cannot, it will look the same from outside, but you don't have to use it in the entrance. Make sure there is some adjustable lens models that are used in the entrance, because entrance you need to adjust, make sure you need to zoom in and make sure the view is correctly capturing the face. So look for these more models for the entrances. Last is IR. Okay, so all your cameras most likely will have the letter R. That means all your cameras have IR. If IR is not there, just make sure the project specification is not mentioning IR. Otherwise, you have to send it back or order the correct model number. Okay. Now, having said this, the first letter there is a difference. Q versus X. Now, X series is known for having higher specifications, okay, slightly higher. For example, if IR range of Q series is up to 30 meter, X series you can find higher IR range, and WDR range will be higher for X. So, in a project, if you have 100 Q series and 10 X series cameras, in a project, if you have 100 Q series and 10 X series, most likely the X series cameras are for certain critical locations, entrances or car park entrances, or certain specific long distance entrances. You will have X because X has either higher WDR or higher IR range or higher lens, so more zoom you can get compared to Q. Okay, Q is your standard, which is good for 99% of the coverage, but some areas you may find X series. X series by default also has lots of analytics, and X series is also known for having some special shapes for ATM cameras, stainless steel cameras, and so on. So maybe some special areas you have X series. Okay, now we will see how to find the comparison on the website. Okay, all you have to do is go to Hanwa security website. You can type in Google Hanwha Security and then go to the global website. See the first one, this is the global website. Always use this website. After that, I will show you what are the different things you can access from the website. There are many important files available, certificates, firmware updates, product data sheets, user manuals, AutoCAD drawings. You will get all of this from the website. Storage calculation, coverage drawing. Again, you will get this from the website. Catalogs, software updates of the even the NVR. You will get it only through the website. So website is very important. You should be aware which website to go to. Go for the one with the dash. When you log in, it goes directly to the native language. You can change by clicking on the region and select English. Once you have moved to the English website, okay, first we will see how to access the toolbox. Okay, your quick guide is your toolbox. On the website, on the right, you will see toolbox plus. You can follow my mouse. Can you see it on the corner right? In the middle of the screen, right side, you can see toolbox plus. Okay, click on this. Okay, okay. Now, once you log into the toolbox plus, make sure you're on this page. If there are some previous calculations, click on the three dots and click new. I'm going to zoom in so it is clear for you. Click on new. On the left side, you can find network camera. Select it. Okay, you have to be very clear on this. Make sure you're on network camera. Only then you will find the filter button. If you're on a different page, NVR or analog camera or ALL all, you will not find the filter button. So click on the network camera, and here when you click on the filter, you will see different series P, X, Q, and L and T and so on. So let's say I have a project, and in the project I have been given the BOQ QND 8010R, then I have been given another QNO 8010R, XND 6080R, and let's take one PTZ XNP 66400. Okay. Now, how do I understand how these models look and what is the features of this? I can just type all of these models here. Type here. You will see the shape. Okay, it looks like a dome. Click add. The next one is QNO. Just copy paste and type here. Add. The next one, take the next one. XND. Again, type it. There are two models, R and RV. Mostly you will have R, so select that. Then XNP 6400, type, and most likely you will have the R model selected. Now, after this, on the right side, you can again click on the checkbox. Why? Because we are going to compare. You see the comparison button? I'm going to compare all of these models. Okay. Okay. The first two belongs to Q series. The next two belongs to X series because of the first letter. Okay. The X series always has higher frame rate, 60 frames option, and the next two is motorized lens. Okay, and this is a PTZ camera. This is fixed lens 01 30-meter IR, IP66. So the second model is outdoor. Okay, I'm going to take one more. So you can see again all are Q series, but the first and the third one both are dome. So what's the difference? The lens is different. The third one has 3 to 10. The third one is outdoor rated. Even the bullet camera is outdoor rated. So you can get an idea. Okay, so this camera is suitable for outdoor. This is quick way to figure out which camera is suitable. Okay. Then if you want to do field of view coverage, you can also do here. Click on FOV and you can check if the camera is at 3 meter and how much I can get you up to 3 meters. With this lens 2.8 mm, I can get around 200 pixels at 3 meters, 238 pixels at 3 meters. So you can have a quick look. Okay. Anyway, this is not part of today's course, so we're going to see what else to do. Next is customers or you want to know which mount to use. So many boxes are there in the site, and you don't know which box belongs to which camera for mounting. So PTZ camera, click on accessory and select the mount. So again, how did I go here? Click on accessory. You can see the letter ACC. You can find under each camera ACC. Click on that and select the wall mount. Then automatically the model number is selected. Just close it. Then that means wall mount has been selected. Click on accessory for dome. Again, if you need a wall mount, you can find a wall mount like this, with the bracket and so on. Okay, so when you take a report, you will get the accessories, and there is an accessory specific report for each camera which model is to be used for wall mount. So when you giving to the installer, you can choose the correct wall mount model number and give it to the installer, so he will install correctly. All this will help you in your project. Next is bandwidth. How to do calculation of storage. Again, it is done here. Click on calculate. You just type the camera quantity and change the number of days and make additional settings. You can click on the settings and say I want to record in H.265. I want to record at 10 frames and resolution maybe full, or you want to reduce the resolution of recording. The first two we don't change. Scene and light we don't change. The recording tab you can make if you want, you can make it continuous. So yeah, so this is just a brief idea how to do the recording set calculation. It is done in the toolbox, days, quantity, click on settings to make some changes on resolution, codec, frame rate, and the recording time, continuous or motion recording. Substream, you don't have to use. This is not for recording, so you can leave it. And rest of them is the same. You don't have to change. You can take a report even of this. Okay. Now, you can also save this project as ABC and click on the floppy disk to get to save. Tomorrow, if you want to make some changes, you can open and make some changes. So if your pre-sales team has already done the design of this project, you can ask them for the file which they saved in the toolbox. So you can also review all the calculation report by just opening this file. Click open and open the file. You can have a quick review of the project configuration. You don't have to re-enter. Okay, done. So this is one part. Next is from the website. What else? Go to Hanwha security website, click on the global website. After that, go to the global and make sure you change the language. Okay. Once the website is loaded, click on the region and click on English. Just a second, please. Thank you. I'm back. At any point, if you have questions, please ask. If you want to unmute and ask, you can also unmute and ask the question. Okay. So here we are on the website. What else? We just saw Toolbox Plus. Toolbox Plus is similar to a pre-sales tool, so we are not spending too much time on that. It is simply to have access to the comparison. So when you already have entered the model numbers, you will get a quick comparison how different models look like, and you can compare and check which is indoor, which is outdoor. You can find out the accessory models which is compatible with the camera. You can do a storage calculation, the quick calculation, and see which how much storage is there, how much storage is required, and so on. You can take a report, can save it, and so on. Okay. Now on the website, once you have the model numbers, you can also find out more information. Let's say QNO 8080R. Specific to each model, we have a product page. So every camera has got a product page. When you click on this, here you will be able to download additional information. Click on download the datasheet, then the installation manual. Okay, then the CAD drawing, AutoCAD drawing file, certification, IK certificate, UK UL certificate, IP66 certificate, brochures. Okay, then BIM file, BIM file, 3D drawing, then firmware. Firmware, this is the software for the camera. This is important when you are configuring the project. You have to update the camera every time you do it. For the first time when you go to a project and you're going to configure it, before you make any configuration, you have to update the firmware. Okay, so you just click on it and it will start to download. Okay, so you can see here when I click on the file name, it will download. Sometimes the firmware file may be different. For example, QNO 8080R. So let me take another one. XNO 6080 firmware. See the firmware file of XN. NVO6080R is XNB. So the file can be slightly different. In name, it is different. It is okay. It belongs to the same group. So that's why the file name is same as XNB 6000. So as long as you download this under this camera webpage, it is okay. Okay, so some of you may have confusion, or maybe you downloaded the wrong file, but actually no, it belongs to the same group. Okay, done. So what can you get out of the product page? You can find the datasheet. Why you need datasheet? In datasheet, you will find minute information, how many zones, what is the value of the shutter speed, all these extra details you will find there. And firmware is for the software update. Certification for submittals. Consultant will ask you, give me the certificates for the IP66. You can download here. The AutoCAD person may require the AutoCAD file, the dimension files. You can download from here. Okay. Okay. Now, a small exercise for you. I want you to find out about this camera XND6080R. Okay, let's make it XNO6080R. What is the series? Indoor or outdoor? IR range, lens, lens range, shape of camera. So you have to find these five from this particular model number. So let's take a time for 10 minutes. Try to figure this out quickly. Maybe I'll keep it 8 minutes. Yeah, that should be more than enough. So go to the website and figure out this information. Okay, can you see the poll raised in the on your screen? You can just type your answer there. Okay, thank you. Just click on the answers. That should be fine. Okay, so the first one, XNO6080, very simple. The first letter is a series, so it belongs to X series. X series is known for having slightly above the standard compared to X. In terms of analytics, you'll find on the datasheet more analytics are there. Usually it has higher IR range. It can also have higher WDR and so on. Okay, so XNO6080 is belonging to X series. So it's a slightly more powerful camera. Okay, done. Next, is the camera suitable for outdoor or indoor? Outdoor means IP66. If it is not IP66, then it is indoor. Okay, so let's go to the next one. What is the IR range? For this specific IR range, you have to open the datasheet. How to open the datasheet? You go to the web page. Where is it? Here we go. You go to the web page, XNO6080R, download the datasheet, open the datasheet, scroll, zoom in, then scroll down. You will find IR viewable length. Where is that? Okay, go down. IR viewable length. It is 50 meters. Okay. So the thing is, some cameras can have 50 meters, some can have 30. So you have to open the datasheet to figure out. Generally, X series outdoor cameras, you will find anything outdoor roughly is 50 meters. This you will learn as you keep using our product. Okay, I'm going to the next question. Is the lens adjustable? So go to the lens part and check Is it a fixed lens or is it adjustable lens? Okay. So now I've just closed it. So let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay, you go to the website here and click on the data sheet and you download the data sheet. Yeah. So go to the product page, data sheet, select the data sheet, then open the data sheet. Once you open, scroll down, you will find here IR viewable length. This is 50 meter. Okay. Now, next question was lens. You can see here focal length 2.8 to 12. So it is an adjustable lens. And it is also written motorized varifocal MV/F. 08 represents motorized varifocal lens. So this camera is an adjustable lens. So you can consider this as you have some flexibility when you install. You can zoom in, zoom out to increase or decrease your coverage. All right. So next question. What is the shape of the camera? Very easy. So what is the shape of the camera? Hi, Anu, you have a question? I have
Yeah, I
unmuted.
have regarding this focal length.
Ah, focal length.
This mentioned 2.8 to 12 mm. That means it's 2.8 to 12 meter or
No, not 2.8 to 12 meter. Mm is just the lens parameter that you can at 2.mm if you're seeing 3 meters, you can, I mean, for example, 2.8 mm to 12. So the lens you can zoom from 2.8 to 12. That's it. It is not meter. You cannot directly relate it to meter. At 12 mm, you can even see 50 meters. You can take the camera, look to the end of the road. So you cannot say it's only 50 meter. You can even look at the sun, right? So you cannot say 12 mm means 12 meter. It's not like that. It's just the lens parameter. Okay. So you can get wide angle,
okay,
narrow angle. 2.8 is wide angle, 12 mm is narrow. Okay.
okay.
Okay. I will cover one more point once I stop the screen share. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I have closed it. Think that should be enough time to just answer whether it is dome or bullet. Very simple. You can see on the uh, let me see what yours. Okay, you can see on my screen. It is a bullet camera. It looks like a bullet camera. Why is it a bullet camera? Lens, IR, sunshade, wall mount, everything in one. That's why it's a bullet camera and looks like a bullet. Next is there was about one question on the lens. You can see here 2.8 to 12. That means at 2.8 mm, you can see around 120 degrees angle. When you zoom in, you can see tally 30 degrees. Whenever you install the camera, okay, for example, let me take one camera. So here I have a camera XNP620. Whenever I install, you try to keep it as wide as possible. So you can also zoom in, but the more you zoom in, of course, you are going to lose the view. Okay, so wide angle, how much wide you can see is also important because no one wants to cover this much zoomed in view, right? It's too narrow. So it will be around 10 degree or something. So where is the lens? Yeah, this is it's called tele. Okay, so when you zoom in too much, it's tele wide angle. So when most of the projects, lobby area, waiting area, corridor areas, you want to cover as wide as possible. But entrance area, number plate, car entrance, there you need to zoom in. Okay, so those cameras make sure you have higher zoom. But rest of the areas, you don't want 5 mm or 6 mm. You want as low as possible because as low means more wide you can cover. Okay. So yeah, so that's about the first section of today. All right. Now the next thing is how to start the configuration. Okay. Now before we do configuration, there is one point you have to keep in mind. Whenever we supply a camera, there is something called as supplied accessories. You're not just getting the camera, you're also getting some extra accessories. So example, you will get this wrench or Allen key for screwing, unscrewing the camera. You will get alarm cables with every camera box. You will also find waterproof accessory. This is very important when the camera is supplied. All outdoor cameras, you will find a waterproof accessory to protect the camera. Sunshade, and to mount the sun shield you have a screw. So keep this accessories in mind. We also some models you will have moisture desiccant bag. We call it desiccant bag. We will give spare desiccant bag. So if your project you bought the camera and you didn't install for 6 months, 10 months, and then you're installing, we give spare, you know, desiccant bags. They absorb moisture if there is any moisture accumulated because of the during the storage condition. It will absorb that. So we give some spare bags. You can replace it inside. Then we have cable for testing monitor. If you have an analog monitor, maybe a kit to check the video output, you can use this. Anyhow, the whole idea is keep in mind there is something called waterproof accessory. Every camera will have that. You have to keep it safe and install it. And also waterproof accessory. Dome cameras, you will find a bush, cable bush. The cable has to go through it. Okay, we will see that as well now. Okay, okay. So when you get a dome camera, if you get an indoor camera, you will not find any screws. For example, if you buy a outdoor camera, you can find the screws here. You can easily unscrew and put the cable inside. But when you have indoor cameras, there are no screws. So how do you open it? You have to twist it open. Okay, so you can see here, you have to twist like a bottle and then you can open the camera. Okay, so again, all this just for your information because every vendor will have a slightly different way of installing. Now, without having this small basic idea, you may damage the camera or you may, use a lot of force and then, you can break something. So just to avoid that, I'm going through this. Then, if it is a bullet camera, you will have this accessory called waterproof accessory for the connector. The RJ45 connector, there are pins, metal pins. That metal pin should not get in touch with water, so we provide this accessory. So just ask the person who's installing to make to follow this guideline, use the accessory. So this connector, RJ45 connector, is safely inside this accessory, so no water will penetrate. Okay, then if it is a dome camera, you can see it will have a waterproof bush cable bush. So you should not throw this bush. Most customers they will think it is just like a cover and they throw it and put the cable inside. It should not be like that. The cable has to go through this bush. So you can see here there is a cable bush and it has to go through it. The Cat 6 should go through it. We also supply this accessory to help you to pull the cable through this bush so that water will not go inside the camera. Okay, so just keep in mind, so why do you need to open? Only then you can put the camera inside, cable inside and plug the cat 6. Second thing, SD card is inside the camera, so you need to open it. Then lastly, reset button. Okay, we'll come to that. There is something known as the, yeah, reset button inside the camera. You will find the reset button. If you forget the password, because maybe for some reason you forgot the password or you want to reset everything, you can do it from the camera web page. But if you forgot the password, there is no way to recover, right? So in that case, there is a reset button also. You have to open it, press the reset button for at least just say 5 to 12 seconds. So I would say 12 seconds to make sure people don't just uh, they don't miss it. So if you want to reset the camera, at least 5 seconds. You have to hold it to reboot. It will reset the password and everything. Okay. It's called going to factory default. Okay. Now that aside, how about a bullet camera? So the bullet camera, some models, not all, you have to open again by like opening a bottle. You can see the lock button, lock and unlock. You have to twist. You have to twist it open and then you will get access to the SD card and the reset button is here on next to the SD card. Okay, you can see here this one SD card and the reset button. Okay, and you have twist it open here. You can see the lock button. It's not a button, it's just a marking. You just rotate it and then you can pull it out and you can reset. Okay, not all models are like this, but other models you can easily figure out because there is a screw and you can open the screw and do it. Some models you will see a lock button. That means you have to twist it open. Okay. Again, not all bullet cameras are like this. Some bullet cameras, the at the back side you will find the SD card, and for X series cameras you will find all the connectors at the back side. You will also find that you will find these three screws you have to open and insert your Cat6 cable, and check the reset button. Everything is at the back side. So that is more easy. Q series, you will find it like this. Okay, so let's take a short break for 10 minutes and we will be back. Make it 12. Okay, let us continue. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Da. Okay, so now let's continue with the next big or part two of today's training. Okay, thanks for joining back. Okay, ready? Okay, good. All right, so let's go for the next second phase of today's session. This is about the actual configuration. Okay, now for configuration, there is a separate tool. The previous tool which you saw for storage calculation is called toolbox, but there is another tool which is purely for uh, 1 second. I think my screen, yeah, okay. The previous tool is the toolbox, which is for storage, mount selection, looking at the camera, comparing the camera. This is fine. There is another tool purely for configuration. We call it Wisenet Device Manager. Okay, how to download this? You go to the main website under support and then online tool, click on this. Under support, click on online tool. It is called as online tool. Basically, the tools which are on the website, that is called as online tool. Okay, so you have to download it. Go down, you'll find device manager, Wisenet device manager. Download this. Okay, once you download, open, install it. Once you have installed, then on the desktop, we'll see, just a second. You will see an icon which looks like, so view, auto range, you'll see an icon like this, Wisenet device manager. Okay, open this file, open the Wisenet device manager. So let me go ahead and open. Okay, done. Then once you open, click on search. It will search for all the devices on your network. Now, what you have to keep in mind is by default, all the cameras will take IP 192.168.1.100. This is the default IP. Okay, and if you have, there is a tool called DHCP. If your network switch, or if there is any NVR already online and configured, they have DHCP running. What is DHCP? This is a service running in the network switch. Whenever there is a new device, it will assign an IP address. So when you connect to your home Wi-Fi, automatically the Wi-Fi router is giving an IP address to your mobile phone, right? You're not setting the IP address of your mobile phone. It is done automatically. So that service is called DHCP service. It is sometimes running in your network, sometimes it is not running. If DHCP is running, it will not take 1.100, it will take something else. But if there is no DHCP, none in the network, then all the cameras will take 1.100 by default. Okay, and so here I have a new camera, just the last one. Let me delete everything. Okay, another, let me keep two, for example. So whenever I have a new camera, let me see if I can zoom. Uh, I think I think you can see my screen. So focus on this part. You try to focus on this part. So whenever there is a new camera that has been connected to the network, it will say need password, and it will have IP address 192.168 or 1.100. Currently, there is DHCP running in my network, so it gave the IP 111. If there is no DHCP, it will go 1.100. But the important thing is it will say need password. Okay, so need password means by default, when you double click and you go to the web page and you log in, by default, there is no password for the camera. You have to configure the password for the first time. So if you scroll and check, it says minimum 8 characters long. Okay, so the password has to be a complex password with at least three English, uppercase, lowercase, and special character. All right, so let's go back. So here, uh, whenever you have new cameras, the first thing that you have to do is fix the password, create a password, because without the password, you cannot make any changes to the camera. Okay, so I'm going to click and create a new password. Generally, you can use anything, capital A, capital D, man at the rate 12, or you can say your company name, HA, then NWHA at 125, something like that. So, or 12. It should have capital letter, small letter, symbol, and number. You can keep any password, but there is no default password called admin or admin 123. There is nothing like that. Okay, only username is default, admin, but password, no default password. Okay, there is no default password. You have to create for the first time and only you know it. Okay, and so I'm going to create a password here called capital A, capital D, MIN at the rate 12. So I have now created a password for the device. Done. So just click apply and close. It will save and log in. So do you see the green color light? That means now you have logged in, you have access to the camera, you can make changes, you can make settings, you can do whatever you need. And on the top, you can see yellow symbol. Yellow symbol, login fail. That means password is already created. So previously when I connected, I already created the password, but I am not yet logged in. Only after I log in, I have access to that. Then it becomes green. So here I will click credential and type the already created password. So here it will say current password. It will not say new password, current password. Just add the new password and current password and login. So done. So now two cameras I have logged in. There are other cameras in the network. I will click search It will search for all the cameras in the network. So best thing is select all, use keyboard, click Control A, select all, and enter the password. So you can log into all the device at the same time. Same thing you can do when you create a new password. You can select all device and enter the new password at one shot. All the cameras have the new password. Okay, straight away done. What's next? After you have created the password, you logged in, everything is fine. If you see a red color icon instead of yellow, instead of green, if you see something red, that means some issue with the network. You are not able to communicate properly. Maybe your PC network is one dot something, and or maybe your PC network is completely out of range. Your computer, which you're using to discover, should be in the same network. Maybe it is a public network or 10 dot range, which is outside the camera network. Camera is 192, right? So you should also be in that network range. Okay, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, other reason could be either the cable is not correctly connected or the switch itself is not routing that traffic properly. It's again outside the range, or it's not able to communicate with the camera. Lastly, maybe camera also something not correctly connected. It could be the reason. So having a red color is a problem. Yellow and green is okay. Yellow means you just have to log in. Green is you logged in. Okay, so now once you log in, your password, initially no password, you set it and you logged in. After that, immediately go and edit the IP address. So let's take these cameras. Let me take okay, I will take these two cameras. They are 48 and 88. So click on IP assign. By the first time, there is no IP, right? It is all 1.100. So once you log in, click and say assign the following IP, and you can give an IP saying start from 55. And click simulate. So the first one will take 55, second will take 56. You can make up or down, click up, and maybe the first one should be 55, second one 56. So you can even edit that sequence. Okay, so automatically it will take. You don't change any of this VDN port, RTSP port, DNS. You don't have to change any of these values. Leave it only the IP address, subnet mask, and gateway, and apply. That's it. So as you apply, you are automatically fixing the IP address for all your cameras. Check, check. Is my audio okay? Because I can see here my audio seems fine. There is audio graph going up and down. Okay, any doubts up to this point? Anyone have any doubts up to this point? So first thing, password. Next is change the IP address. All of this you are doing through device manager. Password, IP address. Next, firmware update. When you log in, if your PC have access to the internet, you can check the status. Check firmware status check. Automatically it will check and tell you the firmware is latest or it is old version. If it is old, you can go to the web page. You say go to the hanwha-security.com, and log into the web page. I mean, no need for username, just go to the web page. After that, go to the model number PNO A9081. So this is old version, right? So I can also see another camera XNF8010. Type here XNF8010R and check the model. Go to the product page, then scroll down, click on download, then click on firmware, download it. Once you have downloaded the firmware, you have to unzip. Okay, so if you still have audio issue, just try to join by phone on the side, um, maybe for audio. But otherwise, from my side, it looks okay. So how to download the firmware? When you click on the device manager, firmware status check, it will tell you whether it is old or new. Just go to the website, go to the product page, click on download and click on firmware and download it. Okay. Now, once you have downloaded, make sure you unzip. Okay. So I'm going to just wait for this to finish. So click on this file, then click on firmware, upgrade. Then you have to upload the file. Okay. So file open. If you have 100 cameras of the same model, you don't have to upload one by one. So let's say I have this model, it is old, this is old version. Let's say I need to upload 100 cameras of the same model. You just have to upload once, automatically you can upload to the rest. Okay, so I have downloaded the firmware. It is a zip file. Just unzip this .img. Okay, one second. Let me unmute Ahmed. He has some issue with the audio. Yeah, Ahmed. Oh, it is good now. Okay, fine, no problem. All right. So I'll go continue. So when you download the firmware, it is a zip file. Make sure you unzip. Take this img file and put it somewhere on your desktop. Let's say I'm moving to my desktop. Then after that, click on firmware, then click on upgrade, then upload the file, go to desktop and you see the file, upload and upgrade. So here it shows one camera. If you have whatever number of cameras, it will all show here. It will upload four at a time, every four camera at a time. If you want to upload one at a time, you can do this also. So I'm going to upgrade now. Done. So it will upload, upgrade, restart, and then it will be back. Okay. All right. So while it is upgrading, I want to also show you the password setting. You can also do it from the web page of the camera. So maybe for some reason the device manager is not giving you any, it's not working for you, or it's not currently properly getting set. You can directly go to the camera web page, and where here it will say enter the new password. You can enter from the web page also. So I'll just log in. Then click on setup, settings. Even from the web page, you can change the IP. Click on the settings of the web page and you can go to the IP setting and you can check and change it to manual IP, enter the new IP and save. Okay, after that you can go to the camera IP once again. Okay, you will see on Chrome, you don't need to download any plugin. It is a plugin free interface. You don't need to download any plugin. Directly go to the web page. You can view the, if you log in, okay. So I have already logged in. Once you log in, you can see the video. If you want, you can even take a snapshot. You can record from the web page itself. For those who are doing pixel counting, you can see this box, dotted box. You can do count pixel also, 300 pixels. Okay, this area is around 200. Some inspection time they will ask you for pixels. You can check this. Not very critical now, but just for your reference. You can record on the web page. When you click on the record button, it will record as a this video. When you click stop, it will save as a VLC dot file, AVI file. Okay, so all this you can do through the web page. Go to settings, then you can also upgrade the firmware from here. You can upload the firmware file. So whatever you do through device manager, you can do it on web page. Only thing, in web page you do one by one. In device manager, you can do it as a bulk. Okay. So what are the three main steps? Password, IP address, and firmware update. Okay. Now, okay. Now next is, okay. Next is, let's go for original. Okay. So fourth step, after you have updated the firmware, now you can go ahead and adjust the focus. You can update the video profile. You can make sure the camera lens is zoomed in correctly. All the settings you can do now. Okay, what's the first thing that we should do? Probably we can do the video profile first. What is video profile? When you go to the web page of any camera, I will show you an example. Let me take XNB and I will log in. So when you go to the web page and you log in, then you go to the settings and click on video profile. By default, it goes here. There are three or four profiles automatically created. Okay, automatically created. What is the meaning? Every profile corresponds to a resolution 1920 by 1080 25 frame codec H.264. There is another profile called H.265. The name is H.265. You can call it H.265 whatever, Samuel or recording or recording. You can give any name. The codec is H.265. Resolution is 2 mega, 25 frames. There is another profile called mobile. Its codec is H.264. Resolution is 320 and 10 frames. So you can see multiple resolutions. By default, it is created. But let's say for your project, you need live, full resolution, full frame rate, frames per second. So maybe it is 1080 and 25 frames. If it is already created, so you don't have to change it. Okay, leave. Then check for next recording. Let's say you want to record again full resolution, but frame rate maybe 10 frames. Check any other profile. Okay, there is an H265. It is obviously better for recording because it will take less bandwidth, and the frame rate is 25. So you can change this to 10. Okay, it's already created, but only the frame rate is less. Okay, you can edit it. For example, otherwise, if your resolution is maybe for Qatar 1280 by 720, uh, maybe they need only 1 megapixel or 960. Then you need to downsize the resolution also and change the frame rate also as per your local requirement. Some countries they will say make sure it is 1500 bitrate. You can edit that also. Okay, so all these settings you can do on the web page, or you can use device manager and do it as a bulk. If you have 100 cameras of the same model number, you can do it through device manager. So I'm going to show you how to do it through device manager. Okay, firmware is updated. Now I can close. Go to the device manager, and the only thing is you should have both camera of the same model number. So here I have two camera of same model number. I'm going to take this. Then it will be nice to do because you have to do it as camera model group. Okay, even if you select everything, okay, click on the plus button. Okay, I'm going to change the video profile. Watch this step because people miss this one. So you see the plus button here. Okay, I'm going to click on that plus, and then now click on video profile. Do you see video profile? The below the green one, green tick box. Click on video profile. Okay. Now it will automatically group the cameras by model. So I have here Piano A, two models of this, two cameras of the same model. Okay. If I change one, I can change and apply the settings to the others. Okay. Now I selected the camera, then check the H264. H264, it's already created, and how to check, double click on the camera to find the current setting. Current setting, now it is showing blank. Okay, I'm going to double click. You just watch this column, it will get populated. You see, automatically all the values are filled. So currently this camera is having 4K 25 frames. Check the next camera, again it will be the same. So live view is already same, I don't have to change. But let's check the recording. Recording, I'm using H265, and check the current setting. Current setting is 10, 2 megapixel 10 frames. Maybe I want to record at 4K 10 frames. So I'm going to change. So how to change? Click on resolution, frame rate. These two values I'm going to change. So click on these two checkbox, make it 4K and 10 frames. So resolution I change to 4K, and the frame rate let's make it 12. Okay, now apply. This setting will get applied to both the cameras. Can you see the arrow button? You see both the, when I click apply, both the cameras would get saved. So only the parameters that I want to change, I will click checkbox and edit the value here, and then apply here. That's it. Then it gets saved to all the cameras in the model. So it's easy. If you have 100 cameras, just change one, then it will get saved. Now you can double check this. How to double check? Just click on any one camera. You will see the settings already applied. Got it? So this is how easy it is to apply the settings to all the cameras. Okay, now I have completed the profile setting. Next is check the view. How to check the view? Select the camera, then right click. Okay, not the plus. There is plus here, but there is something called right click. Just right click on the camera. Click on live viewer. Live viewer. Select it. I'm going to check the lens, whether it is covering the full scene or I want to zoom in. I can do that adjustment in the live viewer. So open the live viewer. This camera is looking down. Let me take another model. Let me take this one. Just a second. Okay, right click, live viewer. Uh, Something is weird. 4.3. Okay, let me show you on the system. Okay, right click, live viewer. Okay, see, my laptop is having some concern. Okay, once you open the live viewer, you can see the live video. It's a small window showing the live video, and on the bottom, somewhere around the middle, on the right side, you can see zoom function. You can click zoom, and you can zoom out, and you can click uh, zoom plus to zoom in also. So right now I'm zooming out, I mean zooming in, going narrow, and then I'm also zooming out. Okay, now if you notice this particular setting of zooming in, zooming out, this is done camera by camera, right? And this is done area by area. So if that area needs more zoom, then you have to do it for that camera. Otherwise, if you're okay with the wide angle, it's okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, now just after this, click on simple focus, and that's it. Your camera will focus. Okay, let's take a break. I think it's prayer time. So let's take a break and we will be back in, say, okay, let's take a 30-minute break and we'll be back. So I will also, if you want to grab some lunch, you can grab some lunch and then we'll be back in 30 minutes. Hi, Mohammed. You have a question? Mohammed Jahangir?
Yes, sir. I just
Yeah.
asked you that can we apply this video profile setting on the different models at the same time?
No, only same model at the same time.
Okay, we use only same models.
Yeah, we have to use same
Okay,
model.
sir. One more thing. In the very start, I just missed the 10 to 15 minutes. Can we use this toolbox tool in the very start to find the camera details and other?
Yeah, the toolbox is for the camera details and specifications, and another option is to check the datasheet also.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So I will start with another short question to check. So you will see a screen opening up for a poll. It's a quick question to check uh, what we learned so far. So what is the name of the tool used for storage and mount selection? Okay, I'm will close the poll. So the tool used for storage and the camera selection and to look at the cameras and then compare the cameras. This is called toolbox. The other tool which is used for configuration of cameras, it is known as device manager. Device manager you have to download on your PC. Toolbox you don't have to download. It's a web-based tool. Okay, next question. What is the first three steps that we learned during the training? The first three important steps. Okay, good. So the first three steps that we learned is password update. Fine. First change the password, then fix the IP address, then firmware update. Okay, these are the three first steps. After that, we will adjust analytics. We can talk about focus. We can talk about video profiles. That is after. Okay. All right. So I've done till now in the training, we covered the three steps. Plus, we talked about video profile. Then we talked about the live view focus adjustment also. So you can right click on the camera, click on the live viewer, and then live viewer, and then you can adjust the zoom. You can zoom in, zoom out. After you finish the zoom in and zoom out, click on simple focus. Simple focus will make sure the entire image is in focus. Now, the simple focus, you can also do it as a bulk. Select all the camera and you can click on focus setup. You can see here focus setup and okay, 1 second. focus. Then again, it is grouping by model. If it's under the same model, just click on simple focus. Simple. That's it. It will focus all the cameras. There are two ways of doing it, either right click and simple focus, or you can just focus all the cameras at one shot using the focus setup. Only the zooming in part you have to do for each camera depending on that area and location. Okay, now next, date and time. Again, this is a very important step. You can consider it as a must do step for every camera. The good thing in this is you don't have to do by group or by model. You can do it for all at the same time. Okay, so that tells you something. It's a common step for all the cameras. So select all the cameras. Then on the top, you will click this plus button, select date and time. Click on this date and time, and the again under this, the first step is to change the time zone. By default, it will have Seoul, which is Korean time. You have to change it to GMT plus 4 or GMT or UTC plus 3 or UTC plus 2, depending on where your country is. So mine is Dubai, so I'm going to make UTC plus 4. This is compulsory. Okay, you have to change the time zone. Accidentally don't start from here, because unless you change the time zone, your camera time will still be different. If the camera time is different, then all the logs and analytics are happening on a different time. Okay, after you finish this, next step is to sync all the cameras with any one NVR. If you have a recorder or any NTP server, you can sync all the cameras to take the time from the NVR. If you have SSM VMS, this is another product of ours. If you have our VMS, you can enter the IP address of the VMS server. If you have one of our NVR, you can enter the IP address of the NVR. If you have third-party cameras, third-party VMS, check with them what is the NTP IP address and enter that IP. You have places to enter. Just enter the first one. So let's say my NVR is 192.168.219. I will sync all the cameras with the NVR. Done. Okay, now it can be different model, doesn't matter, it will apply. If you don't have NVR at that moment, what you could do is you can also sync with your PC. If your PC is running the correct time, you can also say sync with my PC. So whatever time is there on the PC will get copied to the cameras. Okay, so ideally you can start, if you don't have NVR at the moment, just sync for now with PC. Later on you can sync with the NVR IP address. Okay, so NVR and cameras will always be running at the same time. Okay, so how many steps did we cover so far? Password, firmware, addressing, IP addressing, then live view focus adjustment, video profile, yeah, video profile, then date and time. Okay, very key important steps. All right, now after this, there are some steps which you have to keep in mind, which can be useful on project to project basis. Okay, I'm going to go through that. Activating WDR, activating on-screen display, activating motion detection, activating tamper detection. These are some common steps. Okay, we will not dwell too much on this, but I will just show it to you quickly and then you can just have a look. So let me take this model, login. Again, all of this you can do through device manager. I will show both. So click on settings. Right now WDR is off on this camera. Then click on the under video and audio. There are many things we can do. Under video setup, if for some reason someone installed the camera upside down, you can also make it upside down here. So you'll see the image can be, if they install the camera upside down, you can flip the image from the web page. Next, you can put some privacy mask here. You can mask some zones. You can do that here. Next is WDR. WDR comes under the section backlight. So go to the camera setup under video and audio. Okay. Remember the step. It's not under basic. It's not under PTZ. It is under video and audio camera setup. You find backlight. Okay. Now under backlight, turn on WDR. So you can see after you activate WDR, the image lighting, you can see it is dark inside. Outside you cannot see. Now once you activate WDR, now you can see outdoor as well as inside. Okay. So this is the purpose of WDR. You can enable auto, so you don't have to keep changing at low light or other time. Automatically just say auto, it will automatically adjust accordingly. Done. So WDR is here. Next is on-screen display. If you want to display date and time on the video itself, you want to, so whenever you export whatever, I mean, anytime it will be printed on the video, watermarked. If you want to do that, you can do this as OSD, on-screen display. You can say, I want to show this camera as training, training room and apply date and time, apply, it will get saved. So you can see it will be written here, training room, date and time. You got it? I can disable this if I don't want, can delete it and apply. So I have removed the date and time. So you can do under OSD setting. Next is the exposure. Sometimes you want to adjust the exposure settings of the entrances. You can adjust the shutter speed. Prefer shutter means it will try to stay in this shutter speed as much as possible. Before you do all of this, click on the preset. Under preset, you will see number plate, indoor backlight. So indoor, not bright, indoor backlight. So the camera will automatically adjust the required setting. If you don't have any WDR requirement, you can go to vivid video. Um, then if you are looking at number plates, you can look for number plate option. Okay, so based on that, you choose outdoor daytime. If the camera is purely outdoor camera, so you can check the setting. Whenever you change, you see the shutter speed automatically changes. When I put vivid video, it changes. So these are presets. Okay. Next, on the basic, there are some words you have to keep in mind. The word is called edge recording profile. Edge recording profile means this, you can choose any profile here. If you want, even you can make your own profile, SD card and H.264 full frame rate 25 frames, and you can call it edge recording profile. So that means that particular resolution will be recording on the SD card if you insert an SD card. So when you apply this and click OK, so you created an SD card profile and it is 5 mega 25 frames, and that will be recording on the SD card. So you see here, click and you can check. It's called a record profile. Okay, it is also known as edge recording profile. Some people get confused when they see the record profile, they think it is recording on the NVR automatically. No, it has nothing to do with the NVR. It simply means this profile is used for SD card recording. How to check your SD card status? Click on Event Storage. Again, this storage means SD card storage. If you plug your SD card, you can click on, it will check for SD card and then it will say how much is the size and all that. Format it for one time, and then you can put password based recording, you can put continuous recording, or you can say only event based recording. It is recording SD card profile. Okay. Okay, now back to the, okay, I will come to that, Ahmed, in terms of number plate viewing. So okay, so there is a question for the number plate. Generally, for number plate, you need higher shutter speed. If you want to capture fast moving objects, so right now you can see it is blurry, right? If you want to capture fast moving objects, you have to increase the shutter speed, maybe 1 by 200 or something like that. Click apply. Okay. So now when I move my hand, now you can see my hand more clearly. Before it was blurring out. So now you can see my hand more clearly. Even now it is still blurred, so you can increase the shutter speed. Let's say 300. Okay, you can see on the live view. Okay, so this is the main step when it comes to number plate. You have to make sure first the shutter speed is being increased. By default, shutter speed is less because by default, no one requires to directly monitor number plates, so automatically shutter speed is less. So try to increase this and also try to increase the minimum shutter by 1 by 200. And just let's go back to the live view. Okay, now let's see. Okay, you don't see much blurring. So as you increase the shutter speed, you are able to capture the fast moving objects. That is the first thing. Next is to check the WDR, make it auto. So nighttime WDR will be switched off. Then after that, if you still find more issues, try to reduce the noise reduction and gain. These are gain and noise reduction. Samsung Super Noise Reduction, automatic gain control. These are technologies that try to make the image look good. They are processing technologies. So the more you do processing, the more the fast moving objects may lose some detail. Okay, so you can try to reduce to medium, everything to medium. Right now it's all around higher level, maybe 4 5 like that. So try to reduce this. Now when you make it high, yes, overall image will look very good, but your objective is to capture the number plate. So those situation, try to make this lower. Extra processing, try to reduce. Okay, all this is probably with the number plate manual, you may find it, but I'm not 100% sure. So this is the most common steps that we generally do. Okay. All right. Next is analytics. Analytics is motion detection. Simple one, motion detection. You can enable, and automatically it will draw a box across the entire scene, and you can adjust the size of the box. You can even make multiple zones. You can make here zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that. You can make multiple zones. Every camera you can make at least 4 zones. X series 8, Q series you can do 4 zones, and you can adjust the, once you apply, it will measure the current movement. So current, there is current, I am moving, right? So there is some level of movement, so it is causing motion alarm. If you want, you can raise the bar, So it will not detect small movement. So if there's some movement all the time, it will try to increase the level of detection. So small movements, it will not reach that bar. But if I'm moving very fast, then it will, uh, for example, if the movement is more pixels are moving, then it will cause motion detection. Okay, so you can put the level of detection. Okay, more movement is required to trigger the motion. And duration, if you want to detect, wait for 2 seconds and then detect, you can do that. Or you can exclude some area and you say this guy is always moving, so I will exclude him. So when you exclude, this area will not even be considered for motion detection. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much I move, it will ignore. Then common setting, if you want to detect even the smallest object, make it small. If you want to detect sizable objects, maybe if you don't care about leaves and moving cats and dogs, so make it slightly bigger, so small objects will be ignored. Okay, it does it people get confused that okay, they think only this area it will detect. It's not like that. It is just to check the size. You see here size, minimum size to detect. So right now my hand is moving, my hand is of a certain size. But if I make the size of detection very high and I remove this box, I will just how to remove, right click, delete. Okay, how to remove, right click and delete. Okay, so currently my size of movement is not that, it's not big enough. However, if I am moving, if the object size is very big, then only it will trigger some level of motion. Okay, so now I'm going to make this smaller. If I make it small, so even small movement, it will trigger. Say small movement, it will trigger, it will detect. If I make it very big, so if a cat is going, the cat will not meet the size criteria. It will not match the height. It will be smaller than this box height. It will ignore. So if you want to ignore small objects from triggering alarm, it is this is called calibration. Basically, you're fine tuning the analytics to avoid unnecessary alarms. Okay, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So here we are back to the camera web page. Okay, so analytics, motion. Okay, even motion you have now level of detection. So if you small movements will be ignored. Minimum duration, wait for 1 second to trigger the motion. Sensitivity, if you increase too much, it will, even small changes it will detect. If even if the light is moving little bit, it will detect. Get too sensitive, it will cause many alarms. So maybe you can reduce the sensitivity. You can see how quickly it is detecting. I mean, not quickly, like even small changes it will detect. Okay. So the good thing is you can make multiple zones. Each zone you can set the level of detection, duration, sensitivity. You can exclude some area. If you exclude, that will be high priority. So even if you exclude this area, that will be rejected, and then only it will check in the area. Common is to minimum size to trigger. So small objects can be ignored from causing alarm. Overlay means if you want to know where the motion is detected, it is called overlay. So this overlay function, you can see this is green box and all that. So I have excluded, I think. Okay, just remove this. Right click, remove, and apply. So yeah, wherever it is moving, it will just trigger the box. That green box will appear, right? So that is the overlay. Overlay is not there in Q series. It is there from X series only. Okay. Next is tampering. Tampering is if someone is blocking the camera, it will cause alarm. So right now, you can put if someone is blocking the camera for minimum of 3 seconds, then I need an alarm. Click apply, click OK. Now you can, they are saying it was raining, so I got a call that it is raining, but in my area it's not raining. Anyway, so if I block the camera here for 1, 2, 3, and that's it, it will trigger the alarm. Okay, so this is simply put, this is alarm, tampering alarm. Even if someone change the camera view to the left or to the right, it will trigger the alarm. Okay, so better to put some duration, maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds, because sometimes people are cleaning the camera. So maybe they'll just wipe within a few seconds. So you can keep some duration. Okay, so if there is any question, so Ahmed, yeah, you have a question, you can unmute and ask question. Yeah. Anyone else have any question? Feel free to let me know. Okay. All right, so let's not dwell too much on this. So this is the basic things, OSD, WDR. Where is WDR? Under camera setup. Okay, analytics, these two are main, motion tamper. You can explore this later on, crossing line detection. This is there also in every camera, Q series, X series now. You can put enable and you can draw a line and say if someone is crossing this line, I need alarm. So you can first enable and click OK, and then you can draw the line and you can select the direction. You can say which direction you need alarm and all that. Whenever you want to delete, just right click it and it will ask you to delete. Okay, so next is about NVR. Okay, simple. NVR, how to add the camera to NVR. And before that, you can take a report from device manager. You can take a report with the photo of the camera. So wherever the camera is looking at, you can take with the photo, you can take an Excel sheet report. Okay, so it is possible as well. So you get a full report with the camera IP address, snapshot, MAC address, all that details you can get. Okay, if you want to get an updated photo, just click update all. It will update the photos. Okay, make sure you're logged in. So yeah, what's your question? If is it in case do I need to specify recording box when sorry? I actually answered your question directly during the live training, Ahmed. For you asked me this box, right? What is this record common box? This is not a record, nothing to do with the recording or specifying recording. It is simply size, minimum size to detect the object. It's called calibration. So if any object do smaller than this, it will reject. These are just simple one, face detection. Okay, face detection is if there is a person in the scene, it will trigger the alarm. It is not recognition of face, it will just detect a face. How is it different? Motion detection can be caused by animals, cars, person. Face detection is a slightly advanced method of motion detection. There is another camera, by the way. Let me see if I have it here. We have the AI camera, artificial intelligence. Let me open that. Okay, not this. So this camera has got AI, artificial intelligence based detection. This one can detect object based on person, face, car. You can create special objects. So when if a person is going, it will only look for person and take their photo. Okay, so it will take their photo and let me see if I can move there. So again, this is a detection only. It uses artificial intelligence to detect. It's more accurate. So it's an AI camera. It picks up the person, it picks up the face, and also tells you it is a person wearing blue shirt, black color pant, wearing glass, is adult, and so on. So when you do in the VMS, you can search for show me all the people with red shirt, show me all the people wearing glass, show me all the person who's adult, show me missing child. So you can do this kind of search if you have AI camera. You can also do, for example, you can say, I want to draw a line and, okay, not area, let's say line. I can draw a line and say, in this line, car should not cross, but a person, uncheck the person. So if a person is crossing, no issue. But if a car is crossing, I want alarm. So you can do much, little bit more advanced level of artificial intelligence analytics, deep learning. This is a separate topic, but definitely the same analytics, same cameras, it is now made more accurate, more efficient, and more practical using artificial intelligence because the camera knows what's the difference between a car, a bus, a truck, a bicycle, person. So you can make more customized scenarios and rules for your site. Each line you can customize. So in this area person is allowed, this area car is not allowed, and so on. Okay, so let's go back to the training topic. So that is camera. What are the now let's say what are the 7 steps that we learned? What are the 7 steps? So let's write it down. First thing was the password. After that, you update the IP address. Okay, password and IP address 100% you must do first, then update the firmware. Then video profile, lens adjustment or under live view, then focus. It's the same thing, lens or focus. Okay, next date and time, also very important. Okay, then we saw WDR, OSD setting, analytics. Okay, you can take a report. Whatever settings you do in device manager, you can also do it in the camera web page. Now, if you want to do simply motion detection, activate for all camera, there is a button in device manager called event setup. Click on event setup, and you can just turn on or off motion detection. But you can't do sensitivity, too much of settings you cannot do, but basic things you can. Entire scene you can activate motion, entire scene you can activate tamper. If you don't have the time to do camera by camera, you can just click on and on. Okay, but this is not the best recommended method. You have to go to the scene and make sure you have the right calibration so you get the best performance on site, and less false alarm or unnecessary alarm. Okay, but you can do some level of settings here. Okay, all right. Now when you go, let's do an NVR. Okay, so same thing in NVR, the s- default IP of NVR is 192.168.1.200. So again, the NVR does not have, uh, let me go and reset one NVR just for our training. The NVR by default, again, same like camera, does not have a password. It does not have a IP address. I mean, it is all having same. I mean, you have to create the password for the first time, and the IP address will be 1.200. Again, you have to change according to your project. Then what else? The additional settings like recording setting, all that, nothing is configured. You have to do everything for the first time. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and reset my NVR so we can start. Okay, now before all of this, you have to insert the hard disk in the NVR. When you buy an NVR from Hanwha or Wisenet or our distributor, by default there is no hard disk inside. You have to install the hard disk. Another thing is the hard disk you have to buy from the local market. We are not supplying the hard disk. We have a recommended list under the support website under data center HDD compatibility. So if you have a NVR model, let's say I will go to toolbox. Okay, just give me a second. Wait for the toolbox to load. Support data center HDD compatibility. Click on this, and then under toolbox you can see different NVR models: 64 channel, 32 channel, 16 channel, 4 channel, 8 channel. Different NVR models are available. Okay, so and for each NVR model we have hard disk compatibility list. Okay, if you want to do comparison, you can do also comparison between NVR. So let's say I want to compare between the NVRs. I can compare and check. The second model is having 16 hard disk. First model is having 8 hard disk. Both of them have a RAID option, 16 hard disk, 8 hard disk. All this you can check here. Compatibility. Okay, back to the compatibility. When you have the NVR model, just check your model here. If your NVR model is PRN6410, it is same as 6410 DB4. So it should fall under the group. Okay. So if your NVR is LRN, okay, it's fine. If your NVR is XRN810, it is the same as LRN1610 for the compatibility. So let's say I'm going to find for XRN6410, it is the same as PRN. So copy this model, group leader model, click Control F and search. So when you keep searching, you will find here the tick box. So the tick box will show the model number of the hard disk. So all these hard disk you can use 10 terabyte. Okay, this is important. So when you have an NVR with you, make sure your supplier for the hard disk is approved, because that is very important. Simply put, that is important. Okay, all right. Now I'm just going to show you how to add the camera to the NVR. It's a very simple step. We don't have to spend too much time, and then we can close. Okay, so I have my NVR now. Double click on the NVR. It will, by default, it is 1.200. So you have to go to that page and enter the password for the first time. Okay, it is asking me to enter the password for the first time. Enter the password. Cancel. After that, go to setup, then go to system, network, IP address, change the IP address. After you fix the password, same like camera, change the IP address. Okay, I have here connected one network port. The IP is 219. By default, it is DHCP. You have to change it to manual and enter a fixed IP. Do not change the DNS or other things. Just fix these three values. Okay, IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. Done. Once you apply, again, don't worry about gateway, other things. By default values, leave it as it is. Camera port. Your camera will be recording uh, through this network port. Okay. Viewer, this is optional. It is, if you want, you can have two networks, one for camera recording, one for viewing. Otherwise, just connect one network port. Camera recording and viewing will happen in the same network port. But what is important is you must connect at least one network cable to port number one. This is the universal port. Okay, all the traffic to the NVR and out of the NVR will come through network port one. So this is must. Network port 1 or camera port 1 is a must to configure. Okay, done. All right. So camera is set. Now next is check the date and time. Date and time. Check the time zone. Where is the time zone? Here. Make sure it is GMT plus 4 and check the time and other things. Click OK. Current time is 1:56. Okay, that is fine. And click on time sync. Your NVR is automatically activated as an NTP server. It can give time to all the cameras, so it's fine. You can leave it. Now you can go and start adding the camera. Okay, channel setup. Start from the top. Channel setup. Auto detect. Oops, sorry. Before this, click on camera password. You have to enter the camera password here. Add. Okay. That means when you are discovering the camera, it will check for all, it will try to log in with this password. You can enter up to three types of camera username and password. So my camera, all of them are using a same password. So I have entered it. So yeah, this is first step. You have to enter the camera ID and password. Okay, apply, done. Now you can go and do the search. Search for the camera. So you will see here connected, connected, connected. That means it is connected with the username and password which you entered. If you're not seeing connected, it says fail, connection fail. That means you did not enter the passwords. Okay, you have to do one by one. That's why better you first put the username and password of the camera that you're using, or the password that you're using for all your cameras, and then you start the search. Okay, so I am going to click, and then now there is a small thing you have to drag and drop, or use the arrow button. You see the arrow button here? You can add. Okay, so channel 1 camera added. After you add, click, goes down, apply. Now only your camera has been added to the NVR. After this, you can edit the name here, camera 1. You can say C1, ground floor, area 1, so on. You can give camera names and apply. Okay, next, profile setup. Now camera has been added to the NVR and it started recording. What profile is being recorded? Click on the record profile. You will see by default it is recording H.264. So from the camera, it is recording H.264. You don't want that. You want to record something else. So I want to record, let's say H.265. So you can select H.265. You don't have to do one by one. What you can do is click here and select H.265. Automatically, all the cameras will now record H.265. Again, apply. Whenever you make any changes, click apply. That's it. Now your camera has been added and it is recording the H.265 profile from the cameras. Then you can check the device storage management to check the hard disk. You have inserted 4 hard disk. Okay, all of them looks fine. For the first time, you can format it, and and then yeah, it will be recording in whatever hard disk you insert. Okay, recording schedule, again, by default it is already continuous. Most of us are recording continuously, so this is fine. Okay, so that's about the NVR. You can other small things would be live. You can directly go to the web page of the NVR and see the live video. If the NVR is beeping, you can stop the beep, because whenever you add camera, delete camera, make changes, the NVR will start beeping. You can stop it here. You can export the video from here. Export video, you can select the camera, that you can do from here as well. So today's training is mainly on camera only and little bit on NVR. We cannot go too much into NVR, otherwise it's another 2 hours. So, but most of the projects, basically what we want to do is add the camera to the NVR. So, how you, okay, let's revise the steps that we did for the NVR. When you have the NVR for the first time, you have to prepare the NVR, fix the IP address, fix the password, fix the date and time, and insert the hard disk, and then you can go to storage and format all your hard disk for the first time. Okay, done. After this, go to camera setup, add the camera. Okay, before you add the camera, check, enter the passwords that you're commonly using, or enter all the passwords. Okay, and then you add it. Make sure you click apply to save. Then edit the camera names. Then click on record profile and check whether it is recording the correct camera resolution. So H.265 and so on. Then you will see live profile. It is auto. Do not change this live profile setting. Okay. Okay. Then under the camera setup, you will see when you add a camera, NVR will automatically create a profile called live for NVR. Every channel it will create automatically. Again, there is a common mistake. People are adjusting this. They try to make it high. They try to change it. We recommend, do not change this profile. Whatever it is, you can make it 800 by 600, 640 is okay. but don't make it 2 mega. This is nothing to do with your live view. Okay, so for example, when you go to the live, when I see full screen, it is showing 2 megapixel. When I see in multi-screen, it will automatically change to live low, live for NVR profile. If you go and change it to 2 mega again, then NVR will be cannot show, you know, if you want to see, maybe you want to see 64 cameras or 9 camera, 10 cameras, it requires the second profile. Okay, so do not change the camera setup. NVR will create a profile called live for NVR. Do not change it. You can make it high frame rate. You can make it 800 is okay, 640 is okay, but do not increase, make it 2 mega, because when you're seeing in full resolution, automatically it will go to 2 megapixel when you see in full view. When you see in small view, it will go to 800 by 600. So don't change this. That's the only caution notice that I can give you. But otherwise, everything else will be similar. Okay, so if there are any further questions, let me know. Otherwise, we can complete this session. You can expect an email from me, and in the email, you will have a link on how to register for the exam. Once you register, you will have access to the exam question. When you're attempting the exam, there is a any desk ID, so which looks like this. Any desk ID and password. You will be provided an any desk ID. Um, so you can see here, one of these IDs would be given to you. You can log in and check before you answer. You can practice also and check. Okay, so I will provide two any desk ID. You can just double check before you answer the question for, and you can practice as well. You will have access to this lab. You will have access to the same cameras. Just don't change the password, and whenever you log in, you will find a notepad. The notepad will say the camera password is here. Just use it for checking your camera settings and so on. Okay, all the devices use the same password. Okay, so don't have to worry, it will be written here. And you can do the exam anytime before next week. I think before Sunday 27th you should be able to complete the exam. Okay, if you need extension, it will be postponed to January. So if you want to get the certificate in December, I recommend that you finish your exam by before end of Sunday. Okay, so it is similar to the pre-sales process. So most of you have already attended the exam before. So it's the same process. You will get an email with a PowerPoint, with the recording of the training, and a link to register for the exam. Once you register, you will get the quiz. Do the quiz, and with the AnyDesk ID, you can find in the information tab. You can go and practice, and then you can complete your exam. All right. Any further questions? I'm online. You can let me know. You have two attempts. You can attempt twice. So this certification is mainly for the camera configuration. So the quiz is only for the cameras. The NVR was just covered additionally because most of you will have camera and NVR. So I just covered both. But the quiz will be, or the exam will be focused more on the cameras. All right. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any further questions, let me know. Otherwise, we can close the session for today. Hi, Mohammed. Yeah, go for it. What's your question?
Sir, I asked for a live for NVR.
Uh-huh.
Just revise this, and I also asked that we can create multiple profiles like recording, diff recording, live, and one more extra edit for SD card. Like, where which profile is currently used,
Mm. Which profile is currently used? Okay.
currently enabled.
Okay. Just if you don't mind, can you repeat that question for me one more time?
In the NVR, we
Yeah.
see that different different profiles you are interviewed, like streaming, recording, viewing, and live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple 3 to 4 profiles, which are currently enabled only one, or these all are working at the same time. Just
Ah,
confused about this.
okay. So NVR is a three profile system. Okay. Two profiles are used for live view. Live high, full resolution, live low, small resolution. So NVR needs at least two live profiles. Then live is always 25 frames, but maybe you're recording at 10 frames. So you need one more profile for recording. It can be H.265, 10 frames. Some customers are using recording also same as live. So it is optional. Okay, so click here in setup. You will find under profile live record. Okay, okay. Now under live, the NVR it is set as auto. Auto means when you put full screen, full resolution. When you put small, small resolution. So this is why it is referred as auto. Okay, so when it is full screen, it will use full resolution. When it is small screen, it will automatically use low resolution. So under camera setup, you can see live for NVR 800 by 600 and H.264, H.265. It will choose any one high resolution, and when you see multi-screen, it will choose only the live for NVR. Okay, this name should not be changed. The resolution should be 800 or below. So when you see more cameras at the same time. So these two profiles. So and one more thing, when you're seeing in this view, the 2 megapixel connection will be disconnect. It will not be using 2 mega. When you're seeing full screen, it will use 2 mega. It will automatically disconnect the low resolution. So at a time, it will use only one. Okay. Next is record. Record is purely for telling the NVR uh, which profile from the camera you want to save on the hard disk. The camera number one has so many profiles, but use H.265 for recording because I already configured H.265 to be, for example, here 10 frames, here also 4K 10 frames. I already configured. As per regulation, I want to record only 10 frames. So I can choose which profile to record on the NVR. Okay, you can see different, you can record different. Okay, that flexibility is there. Remote. This is another profile. Remote. Remote means you get the idea. So from the NVR, when you connect to VMS, our VMS, or when you connect to viewing software, the NVR will send this remote profile. Remote means over the network port. Okay, when you're seeing over any software, if you want to view the NVR, it will be sending live for NVR. Again, we recommend here always make it full resolution. So H.264, H2 fisheye view, and this is live. So you will always get, even on the remote, you will get full resolution. So this is recommended also. Okay, but if you have bandwidth issue, then you can change this to less. But by default, make it the highest resolution for the remote. So you'll get the best view even when you connect remotely over the network. Jahangir, you have any further questions on this, or is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Okay. Ahmed Fargali, you have any question? Will there be another completion of this training? No, for the cameras we completed what is required from the type of camera, installation of the camera, and yeah, that is completed. NVR, yeah, we have options. We may have additional trainings. It will be posted on the website. Um, But today I just covered what is the fundamentals when you have an NVR. Most of you know how to plug in, how to install, how to insert the hard disk. So I don't want to go through that today. You just need to know, okay, some steps like this record profile. Okay, how to set up the recording. This is important. How to add the camera, how to change the date and time. This is all minimum step you have to do. Add the camera password and then discover the camera. So these are the key things. So that the main steps I covered today on how to add that camera back to the NVR. Yes, Ahmed, your question. If you're asking, I cannot hear anything. Just check your mic. Okay, so I still cannot hear. So if you have any question, just put it in the chat window otherwise. So please expect an email from me. PPT recording exam link. Register, finish the exam. By mid of next month, you should get the certificate. Hopefully you will be able to do it well. And if any doubts, just let me know. We can have a quick call over Teams and I can clarify something. Feel free to just get in touch with me. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.